is God?
Is he really all-powerful, all-knowing?
Is God truly loving and compassionate?
Or does he even care about us?
Does he even exist?
And if he is real, does he have a purpose for us?
There are so many questions.
But is there an answer?
An answer to this God question.
Can I get a cappuccino? Some people say that there is no God. Others say that there is. Some people even believe in multiple gods. And sometimes they describe this God or these gods as love or hate, as everything or as nothing. But wouldn't it just be nice to know? I mean, to know some sort of definitive answer to this God question. I mean, who is God? Thanks. I mean, think about this for a moment. Some people in this modern age of science say that God is nothing more than a fantasy, a figment of our imagination. But realistically speaking, just because you don't see or hear, or just because you can't feel this God, does that disprove his existence? I mean, can you disprove God? I mean, to prove that there is no God, you must be both omniscient and omnipresent. You must have a full knowledge of all that is in this massive universe. In short, to prove that there is no God, you must be God. So, just because you haven't personally felt this deity, or just because you haven't experienced him with this in the scope of your own knowledge, I mean, by no means says that he's not out there. I mean, many of the greatest minds of our time have believed in the existence of a supernatural creator. Isaac Newton once said that even in the absence of all other proof, that the thumb alone would convince him of the existence of God. So maybe this God question is something we should consider more seriously.
I just don't know.
Maybe he is out there.
Maybe he is real, and he even wants to know me.
But maybe not.
Maybe he's only in my head, just my imagination.
Nothing more than a fictitious fantasy.
But does it really even matter either way? Is it really that important to know if he's up there in heaven? Can't he just live his own life?
And let me live mine.
Now, perhaps you're at that point where you're saying that you don't really know whether there's a God or not. You know, maybe there is, maybe not. But now's when you have to ask yourself, do you want to find out? Do you want to push this question further and see which road it leads you down? Or do you want to stay where you're at? You know, you don't really know if there's a God, but you're not really concerned. You're just apathetic. I mean, apathy can be dangerous. I mean, if there is a higher power in this universe, I mean, doesn't that change everything? I mean, doesn't that mean that he has to play some sort of role? And doesn't that mean that you should do everything in your own power to find out what that role is? And I know one of the first questions is how. I mean, how do we know what God's purpose for this world is? I mean, there are so many organized religions, philosophies, worldviews, concepts, and ideas. I mean, how is it that we know which one is right? Certainly they can't all be right. Then they would just be an amalgamation of contradictions. So which one is it? Which path do we go down to see if God is really there? I mean, which door do we open? Just look at the facts. I'm not asking you to step out and believe something that doesn't make any sense. I'm asking you to logically observe the world around you and to see what those observations are telling you.
Is the world perfect?
No.
Is the world the way it's supposed to be? No.
Whether you consider yourself spiritual or not, it's obvious that the world is broken.
People do wrong.
Mankind is corrupt.
Call it what you want.
Evil.
Depravity. Immorality.
fallen nature.
Sin.
It exists.
We're stuck.
Trapped.
Bound.
So the real question is how does God want to reconcile this problem? How does he want to fix our brokenness?
This is how. This is the solution.
Even though we can't pull ourselves out of this pit of immorality.
This mess that we've created.
God can. In fact, God has.
A collection of writings known as the Bible beautifully depicts this love story.
It says that God came down to earth to live among us.
He came as fully God.
And fully man. His name was Jesus.
He lived a perfect life.
A life without sin.
And then was taken.
Nailed to a Roman torture device. He was broken.
Beaten.
Despised.
Dejected. He was killed.
But was that the end of the story?
No.
It was just the beginning.
3 days later, he arose from the grave. Alive.
Jesus conquered the tomb.
What does this mean?
It means that you and I, though we were spiritually dead in our sin,
Though we should have been rightfully under God's wrath.
God's anger.
His destruction. Christ, with his perfect life,
his perfect love,
His perfect sacrifice.
he saved us.
and if we believe that Christ came to override our sin,
If we believe that he died in our place,
Bore our punishment.
and if we cry out for his mercy,
Beg for his forgiveness that only he can offer. And if we set out to live a life for him and under his rule,
His authority.
set out to live this life, telling others about this good news.
If we are willing to do this,
we can finally have freedom.
no longer bound by evil,
No longer chained in death.
no longer a slave to depravity.
So what's your decision? And now that you know, what do you choose? Just to live your life like you never heard this message? Just to pretend that God doesn't exist or that God doesn't care about you? Or are you willing to let this message change your life forever? Are you willing to come to reality and see that God loves you infinitely more than you could ever imagine? Are you willing to finally be free and to finally live your life with a purpose? Are you willing to finally find an answer to this God question?